already started now. All right, so welcome. We've got experienced members that's trying to get restarted, get reinvigorated. We've got, and I'm sure that those experienced folks are going to help me with our new people, our inexperienced folks. Let me tell you why we're doing this the way we're doing it. Hopefully you were able to get the downloadable workbook. When you registered, you got a downloadable workbook, a link to it, and you can download that or you can print it, use it how you see fit. If you don't have a downloadable workbook, grab a pen, grab paper. We're going to do less silliness today. This is not about motivation. This is about teaching you basic training. We're going to do that today with our workbook. Going to go through the workbook right here on the screen and answer questions. It's going to be a good time. So we've got experienced and inexperienced members alike. Now that everybody's here, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name's Travis Martin. Been doing this in some shape, form, or fashion now for 18 years. And I feel very fortunate to have been through the ups and downs with my weight over those years. I feel very fortunate to have went through the ups and downs of distributing a program like this. I feel very fortunate to be alive and kicking. Bless the name of the Lord at all times. Don't ever turn your back on the Lord. I did that one time and it didn't fare well for me. But hey, we're glad that you're with us, and we're going to do our best to connect with you in a place. We want to meet you where you're at. It's a cliche statement by now. Meet you where you're at, help you get where you want to go. And again, my name's Travis. I've lost over 100 pounds on the program. Just this year, I hit my all-time goal, my all-time body fat percentage goal, and it couldn't be more pleased. I finally pushed through. Seemed like for years, you know, I went from over 300 pounds and on a lot of prescription medications down to 210, 220. I'd stay there around 20, 22, 24% body fat. Look good in my clothes. How many of you want to look good in your clothes? I got to where I look now. I can't do nothing about the neck up. Don't be teasing me about my Billy Bob Thornton looking face. I can't do nothing about my neck up. You know, I'm 47 years old. Can't do anything about the neck up. Maybe need to put on some of that road and field stuff or something, but can't do much about the neck up. But I can keep working on the neck down. But I got where I look good in my clothes, and nutrition alone will do that. Exercise alone without good nutrition won't even get you looking good in your clothes. It won't. It takes nutrition. Nutrition will get you 80% of the way to your goal. And then last year, deep into last year, I added exercise and more consistent. I've always supplemented, but more consistent supplementation. Got down to my all-time body fat percentage goal and just couldn't be more ecstatic. The effort was worth it. How many of you want to look good naked, at least from the neck down? How many of you want to look good naked? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you'll lie about that, you'll lie about other things too. So we do. We want to. And you got to do it all if you're going to do that. But let's have a goal right now. Let's get down to our happy weight, get to looking good in our clothes, feeling good. Got some folks asking, where do I find the workbook? If you registered and you're in the Zoom app, if you'll check that email, there is a link to the workbook. There's a link to the workbook. If you weren't able to get it or can't go retrieve that now, get a pen and paper, and then after this broadcast is over, I'll send you the links again, and you can go through this recorded version again, and you can fill in that workbook. By writing it down and filling in the workbook, you're going to be more successful than if you don't write it down. You know, you're writing it down. Remember when you went to school, the professor or college, they lectured and you wrote your notes down. I'd record the notes. I'd go back to the room, write them down. That way I could remember. If I tried to write it down I couldn't remember. But I'd write it down. Later I'd write it down, and that's what really allowed me to remember. So you'll do very well if you'll write this stuff down today, especially if you got the workbook. Write it down in the blank, but if you don't have it later, you can go back, watch the recording, and write it down. That'll be just as effective. Okay, so why are we doing this? As we've evolved here, and I think our experienced members will vouch for us, they've mastered the website now. We may not be well known, but we have the most robust weight loss and wellness website on the planet Earth. We absolutely do. There's more content in it that's practical and fun than on any other website. It's stuff that works. It's not a bunch of hoodoo pretty stuff that fascinate your mind. It's stuff that works. And we have the most content in a weight loss and wellness website that works. We have the most on the planet Earth. So here, that creates a challenge for a new person. As our program continues to grow, hey everybody, what's up? Kim, what's up everybody? Hey Celia, hey everybody. They're still asking about the workbook. Can you hear me, Tammy? The workbook, if you're in the Zoom app, you got an email and there's a link there to the workbook, okay? But I won't be able to stop right now and go help you get that. I don't have any helpers with me right now. Maybe if Joan is listening or Sasha's listening, they can get you a link to the workbook. I won't be able to do that now, but if you'll retrieve your email, the same email that allowed you to get in here after you registered, it has a link to the workbook, and you'll be able to print that workbook and we can fill that out together. Otherwise, if you're not getting any help right now, just get a pen and paper, okay? Let's do that. All right, so we're going to get this thing going. So here's why we're doing what we're doing. The website's so robust, we often hear from new people. Hey, I get lost in that website and I just give up. Where do I start? Well, we tell everybody to start with the daily doses. The daily doses. Watch the short videos. Get through the daily doses. Take the test, pass the test, earn your phase 1 badge, and let's move on to better things. But oftentimes, it's difficult to get a new person to sit through those videos. I wish they would, but you know, they work. The people that watch the daily doses, they learn the program much better than you will today, but they don't want to take the time to do that because they don't even know if it's going to work yet. So what we've done here is come up with a way to teach you the very basics of whole food nutrition in probably an hour, going through a workbook. It's a great way for a new person to get started, or an experienced member who's fallen off the planet to get back started, and to make sure that they're learning it the right way. Now, I don't treat, hey everybody, hey Tina, thank you, hey Donna, hey everybody. I'm not a doctor, don't claim to be. I don't treat, cure, diagnose, prescribe. You need to go to a doctor to do that. I'm a little sports nutrition consultant, at one point a certified wellness coach. I didn't even renew that. I'm just somebody that this is work for. It's not a diet. The first 3 letters of the word diet spell die. Anything we start with, can't stay with forever, is just a waste of our time. We need a lifestyle. And today, more than ever, and this is not going to change. It's not going to change. I'm being truthful with you. Your mind is, until you get a plan and stick with it forever, you find your forever plan. You've got to find your forever plan. Whatever that is, it may not be this, may not be for you. But you've got to find your forever plan, and you got to stick with it, or it's all a waste. It's all a waste of time. You must have a forever plan, a lifestyle that's practical, sustainable, and fun, at a minimum, enjoyable, that produces results. You're living in a day and time, it's a wellness revolution, and that means money in people's pockets, and that you're going to see new programs every day that fascinate your mind, and it's going to keep you chasing your tail. Find your forever program. Learn it, live with it, make sure it's something you can do forever. Had a great conversation yesterday in our members only post and thread about the vegan diet, right? A vegan diet. Got no problem with it. But make sure you can do it forever. You need a lifestyle that you can live with forever that produces results. And then you do it on the days you feel like doing it, and you even do it on the days that you don't feel like doing it. That's a lifestyle. And that's what we're going to try to teach here, everybody. We're going to try to teach you the beginnings of a lifestyle. Now, though I'm not a medical person, a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist with an open mind cannot argue with the efficacy of what I'm going to teach today. Now, someone may ill-advise them about our program and they want to argue it, but they cannot have an intelligent debate with good old boy me about the efficacy of what I'm about to teach. You can't do it because they could with phase 2 of our program. They could argue with phase 3. They could argue with phase 4. But you cannot argue about our phase 1 program because it's whole food. It's just whole food, people. It's just combining whole foods in such a way that you target and remove unwanted body fat from off your body forever. Can't argue with it. And it's items, everything you need comes from your local grocery store. And it's items around the perimeter of the grocery store. You can't argue with it. If you argue with it, you don't know what you're talking about. Because everybody knows apples and oranges and grapefruits and broccoli and asparagus and lean proteins and these kind of things are good for you. If you wanted to argue, shouldn't eat meat, well, we just avoid that and we combine foods another way. I'm going to tell you why today you're missing out if you're not combining foods the right way. You've got to do that, and I'm going to explain it in a way today that nobody can argue with. Okay, so if you'll give me your all, if you'll grant me your willing and wanting heart today, I'll teach you our phase 1 program. Now, if you want to learn how to combine foods that are in the center aisles of the grocery store that people could debate and argue about, that maybe you shouldn't eat grits, maybe you shouldn't eat multigrain Cheerios, I can even teach you how to eat those and still lose weight. I can teach you how to eat ice cream. I can teach you how to eat pizza. I can teach you how to eat fast food. I can teach you how to eat at a family style restaurant and still lose weight if you'll adopt this as a lifestyle. But I got to be honest with you. You might think that it's self-promoting, but first of all, we bless the name of the Lord on the good days and the bad days, right? When we're being a good boy or a bad boy, bless the name of the Lord. And I'm going to tell you, if you find that this lifestyle is for you, you might as well get your fingers out, FANGERS's, and stick them in your ear. Because you're going to have naysayer after naysayer after naysayer, and it's going to confuse you. It's going to perplex you. God ain't the author of confusion. Find a plan, get with it, stick with it, stay with it forever. You'll be successful, okay? Y'all about ready to get started? We're going to get this thing started. Now, when I start sharing my screen, please keep in mind I won't be able to see the chat as well. But every 2 or 3 pages of the workbook, I'll jump out of it, see if you got any questions. Is that fair? That's fair, isn't it? All right, so let me share. Excuse me. Woo. Getting ready to share my screen. Okay, here we go. You should see me, and you should see the workbook on your screen. We've got a few second delay here. All right, got folks watching on Facebook and the Zoom app. All right, we're going to get started, going to get right to it, okay? We're going to flip our page. I'm on page number 1. Page number 1. We'll spend a little time on page 1 and 2 just talking about getting you started right. A thing that begins right will end right. If you don't get started right, you're not going to end right. You're never going to cross the finish line. You got to begin right. One of the things I see people do is try to take shortcuts. In fact, that's one reason we're doing this, because we find that folks get on the website and they don't start where they're supposed to start. It's just human nature. We want a shortcut, but you got to learn things the right way. You got to learn it the right way. A thing that begins right will end right. When you decide that you're ready to begin your forever lifestyle, the first thing you've got to do is assess these 2 questions. Who are you, and what is your reason for doing this? What is your why? Who are you, I think, in the latter years, for me, has become more important than your why. Because we all behave based upon who we see ourselves as. For example, early on, Travis, you're not fat, they would tell me, family members would tell me. You're just big bone. You're just big bone. Well, that wasn't true at all. Now that I've got some limited background in this stuff, I have found I am a classic mesomorph. I am a medium boned person. I am not big bone. If you define yourself a certain way, you're going to behave that way. If you believe yourself to be a glutton, you're going to behave as a glutton. If you see yourself as an addict, you will behave as an addict. If you see yourself and define yourself as a stress eater, you will become a stress eater. As a man, woman, boy, girl think in their heart about themselves, so it will be. And that's Bible. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You may be engaged in bad behavior, but don't let the behavior define you. That's not who you are. Here's a good example, and it's a wild one. I use wild ones, and they often get me in trouble. Would anybody here go to a convenience store and rob the clerk and then shoot the clerk? Would anybody here do that? You'd go in, you'd loot, or you'd go in and you'd rob them and shoot them? Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. Why wouldn't you? Because you're not that type of person. What you need to do is write down, who are you, as though you're already the person that you want to be. That's who you are now. Then behave accordingly. If you look in the mirror and say, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm stupid, I'm slow, then you're going to behave that way. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Here's another thing, and this is a physiological one too. When I was a 300-pound man, I had to eat like a 200-pound man before I was 200 pounds. We'll have people say, Travis, I'm 300. I'm starving to death doing this program. You're not, but you're telling yourself that, so let's address it. Well, you're now eating the way you should eat if you were the size that you wanted to be. A 300-pound man can't continue to eat like a 300-pound man and ever be a 200-pound man. You've got to go to eating like a 200-pound person would eat before you're ever 200 pounds. And then guess what? You become that person. So you got to go into this not with who you are today, but who do you want to be? Who have you always wanted to be? Self-disciplined, persistent, lean, healthy, fit, physical. What do you want to be? Write those things down and begin to behave that way today. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way. Then you got to address your why. And I hope you'll do it in the vision tracker online. We have a vision, and a goal tracker online. And we hope you'll do it there. But do it on a collage board. Do it in a notebook. But get pictures that represent it's a pain-pleasure principle. See, I got pictures in my journal of me at over 300 pounds, sitting in a recliner with an acid reflux cup, at the mountains in a pool looking like a beached whale. I remember the pain that was associated with that person. I never want to be that person again. I will not forget. I will not live there anymore, but I ain't going back there anymore. Because the pain, that was the reason that I got up and started changing, was because of the pain. But the pain alone isn't enough to keep you going. You'll get complacent. So I've got my painful pictures there. I've also got my pleasurable ones. Where am I headed? Where do I want to be? Where do I want to go? If I ever get the six-pack of abs, how will I feel about myself? Will I have more self-confidence, self-esteem? Can I imagine a life where I don't take any prescriptions anymore? What does that look like? And you put that there and you look at it, because you're dealing with two of you. You're dealing with your flesh and you're dealing with your spirit. The spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. When people say the struggle's real, I get on to them. I say, it ain't no struggle. You ain't struggling getting 3 meals a day. But here's what I don't do, and this is the truth, but I just don't want them dwelling on it. Here's where the struggle is. It's a warfare. Your spirit versus your flesh. Spirit's willing, the flesh is weak. People that don't buffet their flesh, Bible says to buffet your flesh. Be tough with yourself. Discipline your flesh. They struggle in life. Bible don't say to buffet it. It says to buffet it. and we're rough with ourselves without getting down on ourselves. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. If the devil knows you're beginning to be a self-disciplined person, the devil will start trying to get you now to beat yourself up. Can't win, so now he's going to try. Don't do that. Don't get down on yourself, but be tough with yourself. Walk in the Spirit so that you don't fulfill the appetites of the flesh. Okay? You do that, we're keeping your list of who I'm going to be, who I am going to behave like today. You keep that ever before you, and you keep your pain, pleasure principle ever before you. If you have to look at it before every meal and after every meal, that's what you do. But you've got to spend time there. You've got to spend time there. If you don't spend time doing these things, you're going to struggle with any program that you do. Page 3, the diet devil. And we got some work to do here on page 3. So get ready, because I want you to interact with one another. The diet devil. Page 3. The diet devil's out to get you. The first few days of any program and you're rolling right along, but after a day or two of going great, inevitably the diet devil and his devices are coming. Here's one example of how that happens. First 2 or 3 days, if you do this program perfectly, you're going to drop I know people drop 10 pounds in 3 days, all that water and waste and a little fat. Get excited. But then on the 3rd, 4th, 5th day, you get on the scales, you ain't losing any weight. And diet devil goes, see, not going to work. You got to be ready. We don't war against flesh and blood. People that we're living in a day and time, they just want to write off, we're moving away from belief. We're moving away from belief. You must understand, if you can't understand and define the enemy, you're going to fail. We're not to be ignorant of the devices of the devil. He's coy. He's subtle. He likes to drive a wedge between people. Those of you that experience members, you see it every once in a while happen in the members only group, and we try to root it out real quick, but you'll see it happen, a wedge. He's very coy. He's very subtle. He instills and causes fear, worry, dread, a lack of faith. So you better bet if you get off to a fast start, he's going to try to convince you it's not working like you thought it was. The diet devil's going to use your friends, sometimes your best friends, sometimes loved ones that have begged you to lose weight, will all of a sudden come against you. They're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to try to prevent you from making lasting changes that will give you an incredible life, that will help you reach your goals. They're going to do anything, because people, whether they are for you or not, even if they're for you, when you get going, there's a sense of FOMO for them, fear of missing out. And y'all listen up, there's a power exchange going on. Husbands and wives, power exchange going on. What do you mean? Well, you got a husband and a wife. You can reverse this story. They sitting there, both of them's lifestyle's been in a recliner, sitting back eating Moose Tracks ice cream at night and eating on popcorn after they've had 3 meals and even grazed between those meals. Husband's on prescriptions, got acid reflux, the wife's got problems. Now all of a sudden she gets up and says, I'm going to lose weight. And he says, I'm for you, honey. Well, she loses 10. She loses 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. She's feeling better. Got her some new clothes. Got a little more joy down in her heart. Meanwhile, feller ain't done nothing. And now he's worried about the balance of power in the relationship, or vice versa. It happens both sides. It happens. Well, for a little while, you got to be tough, because the devil's going to use that man or woman to get you to stop, because they're not ready for the shift in the balance of power in the relationship. Even if it ain't going on, it's their perception. I'm losing control. I'm not ready to get up off my arse and get going. How do I get her to sit back down on hers? We'll figure it out later, but I'm not ready right now. You got to be ready for these things and realize it's not them, it's the devil influencing. The devil will take inanimate objects like pizza, burger, fries, and cake and make them talk to you. You get in the pantry, you can't get out. You get in the fridge, you can't get out. You'll learn after a while. It's better to stay out than to get in and can't get out. It's the devil. We don't war against flesh and blood, but against the principalities of this world, the wickedness of this world, spiritual wickedness that's in high places. The diet devil will bring things to life in your imagination. They'll take you over, they'll possess you. And here's the deal. Everything you think matters. Everything that you say matters. Your thoughts lead to activity. Repeated thoughts lead to repeated activity. Repeated activity leads to habits. And that's when you have the problem, because habits are going to yield you your destiny. You either have a habit of self-discipline or you don't. So here's what I want to ask you while we're on page 3. Little interaction from the group, page 3. So what comfort foods does the diet devil tempt you with? Let's have a quick discussion about this. What comfort foods do you often turn to that the diet devil often tempts you with? What are those? We'll come back to the chat. Leah says, I ain't going to be able to keep up with it. It's good discussion. So Leah's saying, what did Leah say? Something salty and cheese and chocolate. Y'all keep listening, but because I want to share this with you. I want to share, here's what's great about Shibboleth. Here's what's great about the secret, your personal lifestyle. You can have salty stuff on this lifestyle. You can have sweet stuff. Look what's on my desk. I didn't set this up either. I just looked to grab. I'm craving something sweet, chocolatey, and peanut buttery. Well, I have my own little version of Reese Cup that ain't a Reese Cup, tastes like a Reese Cup, and I can have up to 6 of them as my daily snack if I must, without causing me any problem. If I want some popcorn, somebody mentioned popcorn, I have popcorn as my snack, up to 200 calories of popcorn as my snack. This is also not just what you eat, but how you eat it, okay? So there's nothing we can't have. You just have to find your void replacement and focus on what you can have and not on what you can't have. Christy Duke said caramel M&Ms. Did y'all know that we have an approved M&M? The Atkins company makes it. Anything sweet, sugary, I see these chips, plenty of chips, more than 100 different specific chips allowed on the program that won't metabolize like a Pringle. So many void replacements. Look at all these things that are getting y'all. Now, even if we have over 100 approved breads now, over 60 approved pizzas, ice creams, all the things, there's nothing that y'all have listed here that we can't find a void replacement for. The difference is the things, look at all this list. Look at what you're putting here. These saboteurs. Look at these saboteurs that we've made friends with, that we use as a solution for boredom, a solution for stress, a solution for anger. When we all, as believers, know better, we know the Lord is the only solution for those things. But yet we use these foods, soulless, inanimate objects. Was it worth it? Was it worth it that you've had to give up your abundant life that you could have? Was it worth it that you had to give up self-confidence and self-esteem? I can definitely tell you no, because you're not even got to give them up. You just give up the versions that are getting you in trouble, and you switch to the proper void replacements that control, as we'll get into, that control your blood sugar and allow you to keep burning fat. You won't hear me say you can't have a hamburger, a hot dog, pizza, chocolate. You can have it. It's how you have it. It's how you have it. Okay? Liz has found void replacements that's salty, like a dill pickle that's allowed, right? Double chocolate Quest bar replaces brownies, tab says. There's good stuff here. We learn from one another. But this is a mental game. You've got to fly far from planet Earth. and you got to arrive on your own little planet Shibboleth. While the Bible talks about the kingdom of heavens come down to us and set up its abode in our heart, you got to live in here. You can't live out here with what the eyes see and the nose smells. You got to live in here. You got to have goals, and you got to focus on what you can have, not on what you can't have. Good stuff. None of the junk's ever worth it, especially when the junk tastes great. I get it. Why did we do it? Did we do it because we wanted to be overweight? No, we didn't do that. We're smart people. We did it. We had the junk because it tastes good. So the payoff was some mouth pleasure, and the mouth pleasure equal health problems. No self-esteem, no self-confidence. So why not do this? Why not have mouth pleasure, something that tastes good, but allows you to lose body fat? It's crazy, but it's how simple it is once your mind is right. Let's go back and share our screen again. All right. So that's page 3. Write down some of those comfort foods and find void replacements for them. Ask a member, what's a void replacement? Lemon drop martinis are allowed. Aren't you lucky? No way. Red wine's not allowed. My lemon drop martini, I thought I tricked him. No, they're all allowed. You just got to learn how to manage these things and incorporate them into your daily lifestyle. Promise you, I do. I like my red wine. I like it. I do. If you're getting it, pray for me, but I like it. But I know how to drink it so that I don't gain weight anyway. All right, the bulletproof shield. Let's talk about that. Page 4. Page 4. Your armor. This is what you got to learn. You got to commit this to memory. Okay. Bible talks about how we've been given the, Donna says, but the vodka has sugar. I'll teach you how to have it. I'm just telling you. Can I have a member tell her that I will teach her how to do it? I promise. Now, you folks that don't have anything to drink ever for no reason, please just know we meet people where they are and help them get to where they want to go. All right? But I'm promising you, you manage it the way I manage it, you can do it and still lose weight. As fast as somebody who's a teetotaler? No. But can you still lose it fast and enjoy some of the things that you enjoy in life? Yes. I teach you how to do it. All right. The bulletproof shield. Bible talks about we have a helmet of salvation, a shield of faith, a breastplate of righteousness, loins girded about with the truth, feet shod with the preparation of the gospel, and the sword of the Spirit, right? So everything that you see in this workbook is based upon how the Lord speaks to me. And when I was trying to develop me a lifestyle that would change and save my life, my physical well-being, I come up with principles that I just took biblical principles and attached new words to them. And what I needed here was a way to have what we will call a perfect day. Go on and write this down. Do y'all see in your workbook where it says there are 2 types of days? There are 2 types of days. I want you to write in number 1, perfect day. Perfect day. Number 1, perfect day. In basic training, there's 2 types of days. The perfect day. Number 2, a holiday / blow-it day. 2 types of days. Perfect day and a holiday, and then a / blow-it day. Travis has 3 types of days, kind of, but really 2 types of days. So the Bible says that if you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out. You need to be cold or hot. This is the way I've lived my life for 18 years, and it works. Some people will say it's better to have moderation and whatever. That doesn't work for me. My lifestyle is one of moderation, absolutely. But I do it by the day, not by the bite. Okay? The body works better this way. A perfect day is when you follow all of the Bulletproof Shield components. You follow all of the Bulletproof Shield components. Exactly. Well, Travis, I do part of it. Well, that's a holiday in my book. I do all of it because part of it or none of it is a holiday. Now, when you're trying to lose weight during a month, you get up to 6 holidays during the weight loss. When you're in weight loss mode, you get 6 holidays where you can eat anything you want. 6 days a month. That's a lot. Anything you want to eat. You're trying to lose weight, remember? So you get 6 days. You could have one bad bite and it's a holiday, and you do better that way to have one cheat meal and call it a holiday. Or you could have a hog trough day. You could eat whatever you wanted to all day if that's your, remember, we're dealing with different personalities. Used to, if I had one bad bite, I thought I better take advantage of this holiday. I only get 6 of them, and I'd eat till I popped. It'd take me 2 or 3 days to get back to where I was previously. But I've evolved. You know, over the years, I've evolved. Now, for me, it might be a cheat meal. I may not even eat that much of it. It may just be something that wasn't approved, and that's a holiday. And I get better results that way. Make sense? If I'm in maintenance, here's the great news for you that you're getting close to maintenance. Not that you'll want to do this, but you'll be allowed to do this. You can have up to 12 holidays a month. That's very close to half of your month. Maintenance should be about doing the right thing more than the wrong thing. Now, let's go back to the weight loss mode, because we call them holidays in the weight loss mode because it shouldn't be something that gets you down or you should beat yourself up over or be too tough with yourself. You're allowed that as long as all your other days are perfectamundo, following the shield. But after 6, we don't need to use that light, carefree word, fun word, pleasurable word, holiday, to describe the type of days we're having. They're blow it days. You're blowing it. I believe in balance. Love on them, a little tough love every once in a while, need some balance. You're just blowing it. You said you wanted to lose weight, but you're having more than 6 holidays a month, you're blowing it. And when you start having blow it days, you need to call us for a May Day. You just schedule an appointment with the mentor and let's talk. Let's get you back on track. Now, how do you have the perfect day? Write this down. We've got 6 components that we must master today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today is the day of salvation. Today is the day of weight loss. If you're putting it off until 2018, I suspect you've done that in 17, 16, 15, 14. Stop! When's the right time to do the right thing? Right now. So number 1, and we put these in order of most importance, but you have to do them all to have a perfect day. Number 1 component, right in there, water. We'll discuss them as we move forward. Water. Number 2, journal. Journal. Number 3, combinations. You got to learn your food combinations to control blood sugar, therefore controlling insulin. You don't control insulin, you will not lose fat efficiently. It's more important than number 4. Number 4, portion control. 3 meals a day. We'll get into that. Portion control. That's what controls your calories. Not nearly as important as number 3. People will tell you otherwise. They don't know what they're talking about. Number 5, timing. Timing. How to time your meals. It's really the only component that you can screw up and it won't necessarily cost you a perfect day. Number 6, shh, it's a secret. What do I mean by that? I think the best way to put number 6 is this. Fun way is to say, don't roll with trolls. But the best way to put this is to think of Samson and Delilah. Don't ever, if someone's not participating in the program with you, don't ever give them too much of your heart and soul, and let them, don't tell them where your strength comes from. Don't tell them where your strength comes from yet. You ain't strong enough. Don't let them get in your ear. It's okay to tell somebody your goals and to call it out and name it, claim it, and all that stuff. But the minute you tell them your reasons for doing it, they're going to get in your head. They're going to try to tell you, oh, you don't need to lose weight, or that won't work. It's good to say, to want more people to do it with you. It'll make your walk easier. The more people around you that are doing this and doing it with you, the more successful you'll be. But when it comes to you're the only one doing it in the office, don't be telling them all your wine, telling them all your, well, here's why I combine these foods the way I combine them. I have found, even though it probably hurts the program by saying it's a secret, I have found that outside of just sharing your enthusiasm for your results, that sharing anything else kind of allows people to get in your ear. Don't do that. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one and they all stink. So that's your components. So let's look at component number 1, water. Why do we emphasize drinking water? Everybody repeat after me. Water in, fat out. Water in, poop out. If you're not getting the water in, the waste isn't going to come out. Not for the reasons that you're thinking, but different reasons. Water helps detoxify your filter. Your filter is your liver. Be a liver of life, not a gallbladder. Stay positive, my friends. You need to drink 1/2 gallon to 1 gallon of water each day. Can you have other beverages? Yes, but they do not count as your water. There are other approved beverages, but they do not count as your water. Water is important. It removes fat and toxins. It improves kidney function. It helps your liver metabolize fat more efficiently. It provides elasticity to the skin. Water, water, water. 1/2 gallon to 1 gallon of water every day. I'll live without you getting in 1/2 gallon. I'd like you to work toward 1 gallon. That's page 5. Page 6, journaling. Travis, I don't have time to journal. I'm telling you, if you don't become a lifelong journaler, your weight will come back on if you lose it. It will. Ask people who stop journaling. I'm not saying you take somebody that's never gained weight, never had a weight problem. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people who had a weight problem. They journaled according to the instructions that we give them. They lost weight, they quit journaling, or they never journaled and lost weight. As soon as they get away from the program, they're putting the weight back on. Journaling, if you bite it, then you write it. If you hog it, then you log it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. If it goes in the orifice under your nose, it's got to be recorded in the app. It's got to be, or recorded in the website, or recorded on a piece of paper. But please record it. And don't just record what goes in the orifice under your nose. Record how it made you feel. If you have a holiday, it's more important to journal on a holiday than a perfect day, because you need to write down what inevitably happens. It wasn't worth it. I feel disgusted. I shouldn't have done it. So that you'll remember that. Page 7, and we're going to have some discussion. I'm going to pull out of here. Write these down. These are not all of the food combinations either. These are not all of the food combinations. Let's write them down, then we're going to talk about them. I'm going to give you numbers and tell you what the numbers represent so that you can probably write down category 1 LP like that. Okay, so let's get started filling in these blanks. I'm going to start with the fastest weight loss combinations. You won't want to live with these combinations forever. You'll want to branch out and learn more. Well, let me give you the fastest weight loss combinations. First, category number 1, category 1 lean protein. That's a combination. It's just one food, but we call that, hey, it's a proper food combination. You might have 2 category 1s. I'm not saying I want you to do this a lot, but I'm saying it is fast. I don't want you doing it every day, because you do it too long, you'll sacrifice muscle. Number 2, let's put category 1, that's a lean protein, plus a category 2 fibrous carb. Maybe LPFC. I attach a number to them because once you know them, it's a lot easier. If we're having a discussion, or a mentor and you's having a discussion, they can just say, have a 1, 2, 3. If we got to say, have a lean protein plus a fibrous carb plus a complex carb, that's more of a mouthful. You'll learn these. It'll be easy. If you have a big enough reason, you'll learn them. Number 3, category 1 lean protein plus category 2 fibrous carb plus MCT oil. That's your fastest fat burning combination possible. Number 4, category 4, that's a protein plus fat, PF, plus category 2 fibrous carb, FC. There's more combinations. There's actually like 24 altogether. Number 5, this one you can highlight as another really fast fat burning combination. Number 5, put category 7, that's shellfish. Shellfish by itself. Not that we'll do that very often, but there are situations like before bed that you would want to do that. Number 6 is category 7, shellfish, plus category 2, fibrous carb. Number 7 is shellfish, category 7, plus fibrous carb, category 2, plus MCT oil. Another fast fat burning combination. In fact, it is equal to a 1-2 MCT. Same thing. From a fat burning standpoint. Some people have an aversion to eating shellfish, or an allergy, or religious reasons, whatever that may be. But outside of that, it's equal in fat burning power to a 1-2 MCT. Let's write these down. Next, where are we at? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're on number 8 now. Number 8. Category 1 lean protein plus category 2 fibrous carb plus category 3 complex carbs, or often referred to around Planet Shibboleth as an energy carb. It's a good fat burning combination, not the fastest, but it still works. This is where your potato comes in. This is where your corn comes in. Tomatoes, lima beans, peas, whole wheat, whole grains, these kind of things. Next, we got category 1 plus 2 plus 5. That's lean protein plus fibrous carb plus fruit. Got to have fruit. Got to have fruit. Fruit's good for you, especially in the right combination. If you're trying to lose weight, you never, ever want to eat fruit or complex carbs by themselves. Never. The only exception would be if we're dealing with somebody who's a diabetic. And there's rules for doing that. Number 11. Shellfish plus fibrous carb plus a complex carb. 7 plus 2 plus 3. And then lastly, shellfish plus fibrous carb plus fruit. These are some basic food combinations, and there are many more, from superfoods to superfoods in twos. Let's go on and write down a couple of more too. Even though there's not enough blanks there, let me give you some more. Write this one down. Category 6, superfood by itself. Pinto beans, peanut butter, nuts, seeds, lentils, most lentils. And then number 14, superfood, category 6, superfood plus category 2, fibrous carb. Now what you're doing here is learning whole food combinations. Why are these important? If you're trying to lose body fat, you must control insulin. Insulin, we call insulin the fat bus. The fat bus is as the fat bus does. And 3 things happen when the fat bus comes on the scene. Appetite goes through the roof, fat storage takes place, and efficient fat burning stops for up to 2 days. So I eat an apple by itself. Blood sugar goes up. Nutrients in that apple, yeah, that's good. But there's fructose in it too, fruit sugar. And I'm trying to lose weight. I'm not ripped and going to the gym and I've got a weight problem. So I eat the fruit, my blood sugar goes up. My pancreas says, well, we got a little blood sugar elevation. Let's deal with that so we don't go in a diabetic coma and die. Let's release some insulin, AKA the fat bus, and regulate this blood sugar. And insulin's a powerful hormone. It does its job. And there's no fat with the apple. People that put the wrong kind of peanut butter with an apple, it's in every Woman's World magazine. Lord help. Setting themselves back. But let's just say you eat an apple by itself. There's no fat there. But now you've got that release of the fat bus, and there's no fat for the fat bus to capture right now and store. But it does drive your appetite up a hair. Not too bad because of the apple's fiber. But it does stop your efficient fat burning for up to 2 days because insulin is a growth hormone. How can you lose mass when you've got a growth hormone trying to promote growth? So how do we deal with that? We're very lucky and fortunate that our Heavenly Father designed our bodies very well. Where if I'm eating an apple and I eat that apple with a lean protein or a fibrous carb, that lean protein and fibrous carb causes that blood sugar elevation to be much slower, much more prolonged, and my pancreas releases very, very little insulin. Less growth hormone means less fat storage, means less appetite, and I don't stop my efficient fat burning because I kept my blood sugar between 80 points and 120 points. That's the sweet spot. The combinations work. In fact, I tell people, and they argue that calories are more important, calories in, calories out, more important than combinations. Wrong. I can overeat the right food combinations and gain weight a lot slower than someone eating the same calories and the wrong food combinations. It's powerful. Food combining is powerful. Let's look at page number 8, and then I'm going to come out of here and answer a few questions. Here's where we get into calorie control, portion control. Portion control. We are going to make an amendment to the workbook, though, so get ready. Some old data. Now that we have years and years and years of people's journal and their results, we have found that we need to make a modification. We don't really go by gender portions anymore. We found that's unnecessary. That's not to say that if we're working together one-on-one that we might not modify your snack count or even your meal count. But as a rule, portions for both male and female are about the same. Here's what we get, and write this down. First of all, you get 3 meals a day. Breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, dinner for the Holy Spirit. We do not graze between meals. We're not cattle, we're human beings, children of the Most High God. We don't graze. We don't live to eat anymore. We eat to live. It's not our sole focus anymore. In fact, I hope you get to a place in life where instead of thinking about food all day and then later regretting that you ate too much, that you're often thinking, oh no, I missed too many meals. It was an afterthought. Let's find things that we enjoy besides food before life is over. Party's going to be over for all of us one day. What are you doing with the time you've had? What will you do with the time that you still are given? Let's not let food be the sole purpose and focus of our life. You must eat from a 6 to 8 inch plate or use the hand rule. See down there the blanks? You must eat from a 6 to 8 inch plate or use the hand rule. This is the hand rule. Thumbs interlocked. See a man's hands or a larger lady's hands, taller lady, will be larger. Your stomach in its natural unstretched state is no bigger than this. Won't hold any more food than this without stretching out. Not good, not good. You must eat from a 6 to 8 inch plate or use the hand rule. I prefer you use the 6 to 8 inch plate, food on there neatly, not piled up, not all squished together. I see people trying to fit as much as they can. That's not the purpose of the rule. It's not about as much as you can. It's about putting on that plate what you need. And a smaller plate will remind you not to eat more than what you need, not what you want, what you need. You must eat from a 6 to 8 inch plate or use the hand rule. Hands, thumbs interlocked right over your properly combined meal, not piled up any thicker than the thickest part of the hand. If you got a fillet that's thicker than the thickest part of your hand, then you make sure you have less other stuff on the plate. Use practical, good common sense. You can have 3 meals each day. Meals are for your body. You can have up to 1 snack each day. That's our modification. You don't need more than 1 snack. It's got to be an approved snack so we control blood sugar and calories. And there's an exhaustive list of snacks, and it grows every day, as Kim Obermeyer can tell you, who, thank you for all you do, Kim, handles our approvals and our database. Snacks are for the mind. In other words, every time you eat a snack, I want you to remind yourself, you don't need this. You're doing it because, just like I do, mental weakness. There are times I'm just mentally weak and I need a snack that won't cause me to have a holiday. They're crutches. 3 meals a day is plenty for anyone. It's all about perspective. You can have unlimited approved freebies. Unlimited. Broccoli, pickles, bran crisp. There's a large list there. Crystal Light popsicles. A lot of different things you can do to just satisfy the mind. But those snacks and freebies are for our mental weakness. 3 meals a day is plenty. With that said, calories are not all created equal. Calories in, calories out theory's been debunked over and over, but people still hold on to it. If all calories were created equal, then 1,000 calories a day of Moose Tracks ice cream would yield the same results as 1,000 calories of fish and broccoli would every day. All calories are not created equal. They break down in your body differently, and that's why we need proper food combinations. Let me come out of this for just a minute, see if we got any questions. Make sure you're all doing okay. How's everybody doing? Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. I love compliments. Thank you so much. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Because you're going to get the recording of the video. Yeah, and for those of you, right, you know, the diet devil's already in your ear. Really, literally, the diet devil wants to stop you. You know, I hope our experienced members, and I'm sure they will help. Like, for example, MCT oil. It's too expensive, a lot of people say. By the way, if you'll set your chat, if you'll set it to all attendees, you may think nobody's talking to you, but it's because you've got your chat set to all panelists and not to all attendees. But if you'll set your chat to all panelists and attendees, more people will interact with you. Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. I'll go back to those combinations real quick because I want to be here for you today. I think this is an important class. We are recording it. Thank you, Donna. Right, these are just a few. But let me throw this at you. Delina made a good comment here in the chat, if y'all can see it. Illness is more expensive than getting healthy. Amen. But here's what we've done. Again, bragging on the program, bragging on what the Lord has done and influenced the team members to put together. We know when we're dealing with a new person, we're going to encounter the typical excuses. Not that you know it's legit. Too expensive, right? That's why we do this. For everything I say, there's no deal breaker, because if you don't want to do MCT oil, guess what? You can do ghee butter. Guess what? You don't want to do ghee butter, you can do coconut oil. Well, doggone it, Travis, I want to do blue bonnet butter. You can do that too. You can use straight up butter. A lot of our experienced members here today don't realize that. You can use straight up lard. Not a problem, as long as you know what combinations to limit yourself to. Did y'all know that? You can cook in straight up lard. You've got to do your combinations a little different because you're eating in straight up lard. Whereas with MCT, we don't worry about the combinations are going to work for you. So there's never a deal breaker. That's why I feel this is the most powerful lifestyle that has ever been. I do. Ghee butter, we have it, but you can get ghee at many different grocery stores. Just make sure it's cow ghee, not plant ghee. You don't want plant ghee. It's bad for you. cow ghee. Okay, so let's go through the combinations. Get ready to write because we still got some material to cover. The workbook's not big, but we still got a lot to do. I'm gonna cover two things before I reshare my screen. Get ready to write combinations. The first one, category 1 lean protein. The second one, category 1 lean protein plus category 2 fibrous carb. The third one, category 1 lean protein plus category 2 fibrous carb plus MCT oil. The fourth one, category 4 protein plus fat plus category 2 fibrous carb. Next, category 7 shellfish. Next, category shellfish plus category 2 fibrous carb. Next, category 7 shellfish plus category 2 fibrous carb plus MCT. Next, category 1 lean protein plus category 2 fibrous carb plus category 3 complex carb. Next, category 1 lean protein plus category 2 fibrous carb plus category 5 fruit. Next, category 7 shellfish plus category 2 fibrous carb plus category 3 complex carb. Next, category 7 shellfish plus category 2 fibrous carb plus category 5 fruit. Last two for today, category 6 superfood plus, category 6 superfood, and the last one, category 6 superfood plus category 2 fibrous carb. And that's all we're going to cover today. Remember, if you're a member, all this, most of what I just covered is in your journal on a flashcard. Category 3 is a complex carb. The bulletproof shield, so that you can fill in the 6 components of the bulletproof shield. Component number 1, water. Component number 2, journal. Component number 3, food combinations. Component number 4, portions. Component number 5, timing. Component number 6, shh, it's a secret. Don't tell Delilah where your great strength comes from. The workbook is at www.myshaboleth.com so that we don't devalue our members. It's for our members. For our members. Otherwise, we ask people, this is a free class we do. First class is always free. Meal plans and all that stuff is on the website. Glad you're with us, Dora. God bless. I hope this is helping our new people and is what you need. Let's go back and share. Going to get back to our workbook now. And we're going to flip over to page 9. Page 9. Page 9, we're talking about timing. Remember, this is the only rule that you can violate, and it's not a holiday. Timing, this is for optimization only. If you don't stick to this perfectly, not a big deal as long as you didn't go over your meal portions and your daily portions. Ideally, you want to eat breakfast within an hour of rising, but it's unnecessary. I don't care if you skip breakfast. Travis, I thought that breaking the fast was important. Well, as we become more evolved, we have, don't just take hearsay. Why make a program needlessly, pointlessly difficult when it doesn't have to be? That may be optimal to have breakfast within an hour of rising, but what if you just hate eating right after you get up? I don't care. That's for optimization. All the studies present an entirely different case. There's no credence to that at all. That you need, from a scientific standpoint, that you must eat. There's theoretical reasons for it, but there's not a results-based study ever done that's legit that says you're going to get much better results or you'll kill your metabolism if you don't eat within an hour of rising. Not true. But we do believe it optimizes things. So you eat within an hour of rising if you can, but that whenever you eat your first meal, that's when your timing starts. At that point, you want to spread your meals out. You don't want to stack them together. You want to spread them out, ideally 4 to 6 hours. In other words, I have breakfast at 7 a.m. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Can't see myself. Probably got boogers all over my shirt. All right. So anyway, if I have breakfast at 7 and have lunch at 12, ideal, right? 4 to 6 hours, unless you're sleeping, that's a really good rule to live by. It takes 8 to 12 hours to fully digest a meal, or even to get close to digesting the meal, I should say. It can take longer than that. It can take upwards of 24 hours, depending on what you ate. So we don't want to just keep throwing wood in the fireplace. Throwing wood in the fireplace, that'll create a problem. That'll create as much a problem as not having enough wood in the fireplace. So spread those meals out 4 to 6 hours, and ideally go to bed without having had a meal 4 to 6 hours before bed. Timing has nothing to do with your snack, nothing to do with your freebie. Those are for your mental cravings. We don't worry about timing as it relates to your snack or your freebie, just the larger feedings, which is a meal. So we get up, we eat within an hour of rising if possible, but whenever we have the first meal, we start our timing, spread those meals out 4 to 6 hours, try to go to bed on a fairly empty stomach, no meal 4 to 6 hours before bed. What if I work a weird shift or have a funny shift and I haven't had but one meal all day and I get home, it's time to go to bed and I'm hungry? Eat right before bed. It's okay. It doesn't cost you a perfect day. But there are optimal ways to do the program as it relates to timing. Now let's look at weekly timing. Very important. Very important. Look up where it says fast results. See the little beetle bug there? How do we get fast results? Well, in the website, in your journal, or on the website, there's a weekly timing chart. I've been living by this thing for 18 years. Life-changing. I don't worry about yesterday, I don't worry about tomorrow as it relates to how I'm eating. Monday, if I have a perfect day, I mark it perfect, I get a check mark. Tuesday, I follow each component perfectly, I get a check mark. All right, Wednesday, I had a holiday. Let's say I licked the cheese dust off a Dorito. If I even lick the cheese dust off a Dorito, that's a holiday. If I eat the whole bag of Doritos, still just one holiday. So I've got a holiday. I stopped my efficient fat burning. Thursday, I'm back on. Friday, I'm back on. Saturday, had a holiday. Sunday, had to come to Jesus, got back on the program. See that? I did the right thing more than the wrong thing. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 perfect days, 2 holidays, did great, lost a little bit of weight. Never got in efficient fat burning mode, but I did great. I'm improving my life. I had truly perfect days. I keep a chart every day. Look down here. You want to go faster? You want to go faster? You fired up this week? Monday had a perfect day. Tuesday had a perfect day. Wednesday, online, that check mark would become fire. You'll see fire. Fire. I have fire. On the website, it does that. After 2 perfect days, I'm now in efficient fat burning. Thursday, I had another perfect day, still have fire in the online journal. Friday, still have fire. So I had 2 perfect days, and then I get in efficient fat burning Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because I had perfect days. That means I had 3 days here where I was blowtorching some booty. EFBing all over the place, baby. Saturday and Sunday, had holidays. Had one on Saturday. Diet Devil whispered to me on Sunday, said, you blew it on Saturday, might as well blow it today and wait till when? Monday. Notice I had 5 perfect days, 2 holidays, but a week like this, I'll lose more body fat than a week like this. It's how you structure. The more consistency you have of having perfect days in a row, the faster the results. Maybe the next week I'm really fired up. And I have perfect day, efficient fat burning, efficient fat burning, efficient fat burning, efficient fat burning, efficient. This is how you see the clothes falling off your arse. Quick. You lock it down and rip off the knob, baby. That's what you do. The more of these types of weeks you have, the quicker you get there. It does not matter what the scales say. The devil is in the scales. Real results come from you defining a perfect day the right way and having perfect days consistently. That's how you get your life back. And a chart helps you, especially on those days where the scales, you retain a little fluid, it's that time of the month, whatever it is. If you go to the chart and you're being honest about are your days truly perfect or not, you can trust the chart. You can't trust the scales. Let's look at page 11. What is a calorie? We've covered this some already, but I want you just to put down a calorie is a unit of energy. And I want you to write down that fat is nothing but stored calories, stored energy. You're not fat. You're just carrying around too much energy, baby. So you write that down right there. Somebody's asking, how often should I weigh? For me, what I do is not appropriate for other people. I get up and I weigh. I pee and I weigh. I get in the shower and I weigh afterwards. I weigh all day. But it doesn't depress me if I have fluctuations. I do it because I want to know what my body's doing and how it's reacting to certain foods. I have found that's not a good approach for most people. It's like this. You either need to do it once a day, same time each morning, or you need to do it once a week. And the best day of the week for most people to weigh is Wednesday. Because if you did have a holiday on the weekend, you've got some weight, your weight's come up a little bit, and it's not depressing because by the time Wednesday rolls around, most of what you put on the weekend's gone. So it's a personal thing. Back to page 11. What is a calorie? It's energy. What is fat? Stored energy. Okay. So I want to make sure by following portions and combinations, I'm making sure that I'm getting an efficient fat burning and I'm using the energy that's stored on my body. You do not have to count calories. You can, but you don't have to. It's not important. We want to tap in to that stored energy. So we have to eat less than what we need at the current body weight we're at. So somebody is, their BMR, their baseline metabolic rate is 2,000 calories. Let's say that person needs 2,000 calories a day to maintain that weight. Well, the only way to drop that weight, and the portion rules will handle this for you without you ever counting a calorie. The only way to lose that weight is to be in a calorie deficit. So if I take in 1,000 calories and my body at its current weight needs 2,000, I've got 1,000 calorie deficit. In other words, I expended 1,000 units of energy that my body had to get off of my body because I didn't give it to my body. There are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. Stored in 1 pound of fat, 3,500. So if I'm in a 1,000 calorie deficit, it would take me 3.5 days to lose 1 pound of jiggly, itchy fat. You won't have to count it. You won't have to do the calculations. I think it's important to talk to you about it so you understand why I say the food combinations and the portions work like they work. But that's what ultimately we're trying to do, is to get rid of that stored energy. We've already covered this, but I want you to write down under the fat bus 3 things detrimental to weight loss happen when the fat bus comes on the scene. Number 1, appetite goes through the roof. Number 2, fat storage takes place. If I eat a steak with a potato, I'm going to store the steak fat. If I eat a steak with broccoli, the right portion of it, my body will use the steak fat as an energy source to even break down the steak and the broccoli. That's beautiful. Got to watch those food combinations. So number 1, appetite goes up. Number 2, fat storage takes place. And number 3, you don't control insulin. You stop efficient fat burning for up to 2 days. Page 12. Phase 1 is a macronutrient program. It's a macronutrient combining program. Later phases, we get into micronutrition. We get into phytonutrition. Today, it's about macronutrition. There are 4 macronutrients that we need to understand. The first one, protein. Proteins break down into amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of all life. It's the most important food nutrient, protein. Gets vilified. It's currently under attack. It's under attack falsely. Protein is the most essential food macronutrient, not carbs. Number 2 macronutrient is carbohydrate. These are easily processed into energy with the exception of fibrous carbs. Carbohydrate. Protein, carbohydrate. Third line, the third macronutrient is fat. And then lastly, we have water. Water is your most important macronutrient. Protein, your second most important. Your third most important macronutrient is fat. And your last important nutrient is carbohydrate. But yet our food pyramid that's killing America is right the opposite. And will continue to be because of money, because of lobbyists, and that's where the money's made. Page number 13. When you cook with 100% MCT oil, when you cook with it, you do not have to alter any combination. They will all work if they're prepared in MCT oil. Of course, cooking spray is fine. Write that down on a blank. You can also cook with cooking spray. Doesn't alter, 0-calorie cooking spray does not alter your categories. Write down coconut oil. Does not alter your categories. Ghee butter does not alter your categories. Hemp oil does not alter your categories or combinations. Those are all approved oils with, by far, 100% MCT oil being the best. Do you supplement with that with every meal? No. You use it very practically where you would normally cook with a fat. We're just saying now cook with MCT. If you won't do MCT, do a cooking spray. You won't do a cooking spray, do coconut oil. You won't do coconut, do ghee butter. You won't do ghee, do hemp oil. Best results will come from MCT. Page 14. This is a list of your categories that you must get familiar with. Now, when you're looking in the food library, you'll have a list of lean proteins, a list of fibrous carbs, a list of complex carbs, exhaustive. They're all interchangeable. So if I'm craving a potato, I find the category that a potato's in, and then I put it in the combinations that we went over, and I'm good as long as it fits on a portion plate. We also have to learn about meal replacements, snacks, freebies, and condiments. Let me give you a short list. Let me give you a short list of foods that go in the categories. Y'all ready to write? I can't see the chat right now, but y'all ready to write? Let's get started. Category 1, lean proteins, the basics. Egg whites, chicken breast, turkey breast. This includes your like boar's head turkey breast, boar's head chicken breast, pork tenderloin, low-fat cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt. I'm doing this off my head. I don't have this wrote down. Did I say fish? Fish. I'll even give you a milk that goes right there, and there's several. Kroger Carbmaster milk is a lean protein. So that's an example of lean proteins, and there's a huge list on the website. Let's look at category 4, page 15. Category 4, whole eggs, not just egg whites, the whole egg. New York strip, filet mignon, 93% lean ground meat. Up above that in lean protein, you could put 96% lean ground meat or better. Chicken wings with the skin, not breading, but with the skin. Beef ribs, spare ribs are examples of category 4 protein plus fats. You'll find as you get into the program, there are cheeses that go in lean protein, cheeses that go in category 4 protein plus fat. Exhaustive program, nothing you can't have. Category 2, fibrous carbs. Next page, page 16. Category 2, fibrous carbohydrate. Broccoli, that's exercise on a stalk. Burns more calories through digestion than what's contained in it. Broccoli, green beans, asparagus, cauliflower, bell peppers, cucumbers, squash, okra, to name a few. Literally thousands of foods, y'all. Come go with us, we'll do you good. We even have approved breads, more than 60, that break down more like a green bean than they do an unapproved bread. White bread is an unapproved bread. The whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. But we have found breads that have the proper macronutrient profile that allow us to continue to have our sandwiches and our hot dogs and our hamburgers and our pizzas Let's write down a few of them. Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread. Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread. Olay Extreme Wellness Tortilla. Olay Extreme Wellness Tortilla. Joseph's High Fiber Flatbread. Scandinavian Brand Crisp Bread. Healthy Life 35 calorie bread. And there are many, many more. Might taste like bread, but it digests much more differently than a white bread, allowing us to stay in efficient fat burning when used correctly. Let's go to page 17. Whoops. Okay, I forgot. This workbook, we're only going to go through those categories because we're trying to get you started off slow. Sorry, I'm always wanting to give everybody everything. So far, we're talking about category 1 and 2, 4 and 2, so on and so forth. Because we're talking to beginners. We're not getting in how to eat from all categories today for time's sake. And we don't want to confuse you. There are hundreds of snacks on planet Shibboleth. Let me give you just a few. Health Smart Peanut Butter Patties. Health Smart Pecan Clusters. Guess what they taste like? Health Wise Potato Chips. Fiber Gourmet Thinables. Fiber Gourmet Thinables. Blue Bunny Sweet Freedom Bunny Tracks. Tastes like Moose Tracks ice cream. Skinny, well, it depends on how you have it. So I'm going to put it this way. Up to 200 calories of Skinny Pop popcorn. Up to 200 calories of Skinny Pop popcorn. Weight Watchers, 50 calorie string cheese sticks. 1 tablespoon, that's 3 teaspoons of approved peanut butter. Literally hundreds of options, okay? Just giving you a few. Freebies. 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 These are things that you can have, and they don't necessarily count as a snack. Better for you than a snack. If you could avoid the snack and just have a freebie, better. Freebies are things like this. Dill pickles. Dill pickles. Sweet pickles that are sweetened with Splenda. Bell peppers dipped in a 1/4 cup or less of Mexican cheese dip. Bell peppers dipped in a 1/4 cup or less of hummus. Now, you'll hear us talk about extras. These are really extras, but you can have them 1 time a day freely. Sugar-free popsicles. Brand crisp with fat-free cream cheese. There's many freebies and extras that allow you to satisfy your mental cravings and still stay in efficient fat burning. Learn about them because you're going to need them. Let's look at page 18. A condiment is anything that you put on a properly combined meal, not in a beverage, but a properly combined meal. Put on a properly combined meal to give it flavor or to add to its enjoyment. Condiments are to be used sparingly but are approved for any Shibboleth combination in the correct portion. The condiment rule, best and most often used, is 5, 2, and few rule. 5, 2, and few rule, page 18. That means 5 grams of sugar or less, 2 grams of fat or less, and use just a little bit of it on your combination. And there's a short list there. Absolutely, the best condiment to use is one that's 0 calorie, like Walden Farms calorie-free condiments, spices, seasonings. But when you get into your barbecue sauces and things like olives that have calories, you want to use very, very little. Use it very sparingly. If you're shopping down the condiment aisle, looking for ketchup, looking for mustard, looking for barbecue sauce, it's very important that at a minimum, if you don't have your food library, if you got the app, you'll have the food library in your hand, the new app. But let's say that you don't have it handy, or the internet's not working properly. Then you use the 5, 2, and few rule. You pick that barbecue sauce up and you look at it and you determine if it's 5 grams of sugar or less, 2 grams of fat or less, and if a serving is, say, 50 calories or less. And you'll have an approved condiment that you could put on your category 1 and 2, or your category 4 and 2, or your 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 5, or 7, 2, 3, whatever. Hope that makes sense. I'll come out here in a minute and look at the chat. Meal examples using only the categories whereby we gave you some foods to go in the categories. As you know, we only went through category 1, category 4, category 2. What would meal examples look like? Well, first of all, visualize our portion plate there. Let's look at a category 1 and 2. The category 1 and 2 on a meal portion plate would look like grilled chicken breast with approved barbecue sauce, green beans, and yellow squash. That would be a category 1 plus a category 2. Granted, it's 2 category 2s, but it doesn't matter because it's a category 1, category 2. That's exercise on a plate. Let's look at another proper food combination. I've got boar's head turkey, so I have 2 to 4 ounces of turkey, whatever suits my taste the best from a thickness standpoint. I've got my turkey breast, and I put that on Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread, and I use condiments of approved mayo and mustard. That's a category 1 turkey, a category 2 bread, so what do I have? Exercise on a plate. Let's look at another food combination. I pick out a category 4, I have chicken wings. Chicken wings fit under one of my hands on one side of my portion control plate. And then on the other side of the plate, I have celery, and I use an approved ranch dressing. So I've got the right portion of chicken wings, lemon pepper chicken wings, buffalo sauce chicken wings, whatever. I'm dipping them in my ranch dressing. I got my celery. I'm dipping in my ranch dressing. I'm good to go there. Make sense? Another food combination, because I can have 1s and 2s and 4s and 2s in the beginning. I pick out category 4. I'm wanting a steak. So I have steak, and let's say that there's a category 2 called butternut squash that you can make taste just like hash browns, which is like potatoes. So I can't have a steak and a potato, so I have steak and butternut squash. Or I have steak and mashed cauliflower. But Travis, I'm craving a potato, and we didn't get into that today. Well, I could have chicken breast, which is a category 1, green beans, which is a category 2, and now I can add the proper portion of potato for a 1, 2, 3. These are the kind of things we want to teach you. And if you learn it, your waistline, your lifeline will never, ever be the same. Let me come out here. You probably got questions. We've been going a while. Any questions? Any questions? Can I add 0-calorie flavoring like Crystal Light to my water? You can. We don't suggest that you use that as your water intake, but if you need to do that because otherwise you won't drink your water, then go right ahead. But we prefer you drink real water and the other stuff be or plain water and the rest be extra. But it's not a deal breaker. Coffee is allowed. Coffee is a Shibboleth approved beverage. If you have it black, it's a freebie. You know what I mean? It's not a freebie because it's not a food, but you have it freely, depending on your tolerance for caffeine. We do suggest when you're drinking caffeinated beverages that you increase your water intake because caffeine is a mild diuretic. But coffee is allowed. You need to use, if you're using creamers, you need to use approved creamers and approved sweeteners. Don't use sugar. Don't use non-approved creamers. Butternut squash is a category 2. All squash is a category 2. I do not believe in bulletproof coffee. Do that at your own risk. We don't teach that, but I know some people swear by it. We're not a believer. So if you do add MCT oil to your coffee, it doesn't kill your day. It doesn't prevent it from being a perfect day, but I think it's pointless. Everybody has a different opinion about bulletproof coffee. The only time I put MCT oil in a beverage is I might put it in a shake if my energy levels are running low, and I don't do that often because I want to burn more fat, or I might put it in Healthwise hot chocolate to give me a fat burning boost. The reason that's different than the coffee is because the hot chocolate is high in protein. I get my protein up, I get my good fat up, and I negate my carbohydrates, I burn more fat. But just putting MCT oil in coffee, I just can't do it. I do not see the purpose, but I know a lot of people swear by it and we respect that. Liquid stevia, terrific. There's a brand called Amica that we love, but you may have one that you love. Hey, Ann, how you doing? Any other questions? Any other questions? How do we count peanut butter and bread? Peanut butter is a superfood. 2 tablespoons of approved peanut butter is a meal portion. And then we put that with a category 2 bread. So it's a 6 plus a 2. Then I could add sugar-free jelly as a condiment. Any other questions? Boiled peanuts are category 6 and they are approved. One of my favorite. Category 6, 2 handfuls of peanuts, not the shell. If it's a boiled peanut, you get more than this because you got to think through, you're not eating the shell. I know some people do, but very few people do. So it's 2 handfuls of the peanuts is a meal portion. 1 handful of the peanuts, which is probably 2 handfuls of them in the shell, practically speaking. 1 handful is a snack. So probably 2 heaping handfuls of boiled peanuts would count as a snack. Amica is not a concentrate that I know of. I use it straight out of the little squeegee. Maybe it is, though. Maybe you would call that a concentrate. You don't use much of it, so, but you don't mix it with water or anything to make more. So, best nut to eat as a snack is the one you like, because they're all pretty similar. But if you wanted to get into the specifics of which would be the best if I like them all, I would say more your seeds are better than nuts, like pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds, I think my estimation would be that they're the best Second to that, if you're looking for a true nut, probably an almond. Probably an almond. You can make the case that that's the best one. As far as seeds, pumpkin seeds, hard to beat. Very good for you. Or you really could, I mean, far better than any of those. We don't really count them as a nut, would be a hemp seed. But anyway. Any other question? Hey, Bobby. How you doing? Good to have you. Any other question? So we've covered the basic training workbook. Anybody could leave here and put together a 1 and 2 and a 4 and 2 the first week and lose weight. If you want to learn more, go to www.myshaboleth.com and get started by watching the daily doses, taking the test, passing the test, and earn your Phase 1 badge. That teaches you everything you need to know, gives you all the tools, all the meal plans, all the resources that you'll need to live the Phase 1 lifestyle. But it's an effective lifestyle because you'll never get bored with it. There's always more, always something else to learn. Thank you so much. You do not have to buy nuts unsalted. I like mine salted. Either way, fine. Amen. Bless the name of the Lord. They are not too high in fat to snack on daily, as long as you're following the shield. If you remember, 3 meals, breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, dinner for the Holy Spirit. You do not need snacks or freebies. That's for mental weakness. But we all have mental weakness. Then in that case, if I need a snack, the best snack is the one you enjoy. So a handful of any nut is going to work. Thank you, Donna. Did this help our new people, the beginners? Did this help get you started in the right direction with a little more understanding without having to peruse through that huge website? The best thing to do next is, if you're getting restarted, is to go into the website, watch the daily doses, and print you off a meal plan. Stick with the meal plan that tells you specifically what to eat until you learn how to do this for yourself. Does that make sense? Thank you so much for that kind comment. I can't see the full name. It's like maybe in April. Can't see much. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Donna. Thank you, guys. Got some more private questions? Thank you, Karen. Did this help, Karen? I would really like your feedback. Did this help? Would this have been a better way for you to start on day one? I've got a private question Q&A going here. How many glasses of water is a gallon? Well, it depends on the size of our glass. 128 ounces is a gallon. So if you got an 8-ounce glass, just divide 8 into 128. What is category 4? Category 4 is a protein plus fat. Can we access the combinations later? All combinations are on the website, every one of them. Watch those daily doses, take the test, pass the test, earn the badge. The section on combinations was gone over so quickly. I'm new. Can I find it in writing somewhere? Yes. Go into your journal section, and you'll see some tabs in your journal that says favorite recipes, your favorite meals. In those tabs, you'll see perfect food combinations. Perfect food combinations. They're listed there too. Another question, as a member, do I start with daily doses, but where do I go to reference all the things you referred to in the workbook today? We're recording this, and this will be in your video library. Daily doses are the right place to start. All this is covered in more detail. Plus, we go over all categories. But if you prefer this way of doing things, This will be in your video library as soon as it processes and uploads. Hope that helps. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If you want to be notified anytime I go live, do live videos here and there, all you got to do is text the word Mayday to 31996. If you're not a member, you want access to all this, become a member. I think anybody will tell you it's one of the best things. It's really put their all into it. It's one of the best things they ever done. We're just a little family doing this together. I'll be notified anytime I go live. Just text the word Mayday to 31996. That puts you in our notification system. And anytime I'm doing something, I usually text it out and notify people. Thank you, Cindy. By the way, for those of you that are new, a lot of Shibboleth stars here, and Cindy is one of them. She's lost 180 pounds, and more than 180, and kept it off for 2 years. Thank you all. Thank you. Please feel free to share. Maybe Facebook. I don't think I said the word fat. Well, I just said it, darn it. And at the end, it is very manageable. It's very manageable. Thank you, Lauren. It's just anything that's new. We live in an instant gratification society. It's going to take you a few days to get your legs under you, just a few days of effort. You won't learn it all in a few days. And I don't mean this ugly like. It'd be an insult if you could learn in 3 days what took me 18 years. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but darn, 18 years. So it's going to take some time. It won't take you 18 years because I've been through all this stuff. Okay, it's like doing jiu-jitsu the other day with a purple belt. He tearing me up. I kept getting mad at myself, frustrated with myself because purple belt's tearing me up. He's higher ranked than me. He said, well, it's an insult to me if you think that you're going to beat me. I've been doing this 3 times as long as you. Wouldn't say much about our art. Wouldn't say there's much to it. If I can do it 7 years, you can do it too and whip me. Good point. Same thing here. Same principle. Thank you, Cindy. Good advice from Cindy. Shared with many. Please forget everything you think you know about losing weight. Appreciate that kind comment. Thank you, Jessica. That just does my heart good. That's what we was hoping for today. Love you, Sister Bobby. Anybody got anything else? We've been running about 2 hours. I told you an hour, but see, I'm long-winded. Can't help it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Have a perfect day. We love you in the Lord. Don't forget, if you're around Cartersville tomorrow, I'll be teaching in Cartersville tomorrow at 10:30. Jason will be teaching, I believe, in Dalton tomorrow. I think that's right. And we'll also be broadcasting our class. So y'all come go with us. We'll do you good. And remember, always on good days, bad days, when you're a good boy, good girl, bad girl, always stay close to the Lord. Draw nigh to the Lord draw nigh to you. Bless the name of the Lord.